is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Lord of the Rings, the Reiner Knizia version, that basically tells the entire story of Lord of the Rings. And in fact, in the back of the rulebook, it literally tells you kind of its synopsis, kind of the overarching, of the books. So, when did this game come out? Like 40 years ago? Let's see. I'm gonna look it up. I literally should have looked this up right before, but I know it's an older game. It has a reprint.
It was definitely turn of the century.
Yes, kind of around the time where, like these kinds of games were coming out. Yeah, it is.
And it was shortly after the movies.
Actually, before.
It was.
Yeah, 2000. First movie came out, I think, in 2001.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It was 2001, 2002, and 2003 because they came out consecutive years.
Okay.
God, they are 20 years old. I was 7 when the first one came out. Anyway, this game is going to be a very weird review. This game is a lot of fun once.
Okay.
I have no inkling to play this again because I've seen it. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no new Gandalf cards. There's no new Dexa cards. There's no new scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Randomness is really the replayability.
Randomness is really it. But even then, you go through the event deck pretty much through each scenario.
Mm-hmm. We won, so...
We won as well, barely. It was literally corruption, like one corruption away. I think everyone played extremely well. The randomness wasn't as frustrating as I thought it was going to be. Like, throughout the game, when we kept drawing, you know, the events over and over, and even before we even got to start, yeah, that's kind of annoying, but he gives you enough mitigation where you can be like, well, we have these feature cards. Let's just, okay, we'll burn that so we can... I think there was a time literally in the run-through where we burned a feature card because it was like, let's just... so we can get fucking started on this. It's all pretty thematic to the books and the movie, but because of that, I had fun. I would never play this again. What do you guys think?
I'm kind of on the same page. I would play it again, just if somebody asked me to.
Sure.
But
I want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't like seek it out. I wouldn't be like, yeah, let's do Lord of the Rings. I'd be like, yeah, let's watch the movies.
Right. It has a pretty good length. It's about an hour. At least with 3 players, I didn't feel it was like hurting for, oh fuck, we need one more person.
Yeah.
In fact, I kind of liked it with 3, even less, because that's less chances of the event, you know, stacking on you. Where it's like, oh man, we drew all the event tiles that move this event up, you know, where we're just, okay, before we even get to start, our entire hands are burned. Mm-hmm. I think the pacing was really well. You have Moria, then you go to Lothlorien, which gives you some good stuff. But it's honestly one of those games where it's like we figured out the strat. Don't burn through your Gandalf cards.
Right.
Save them till, obviously, Mordor. Hold on to your feature cards. And enjoy the Lord of the Rings ride.
Yeah.
Brett, what do you think?
I have played it several times.
Yeah.
And I find that it is a different game with different people.
Okay.
So people who are heavy strategy gamers get through it much more quickly because it's not that heavy a strategy game.
Right.
And it is cooperative, so people think about things, throw it out, and we go, okay, that makes sense, we'll do it. Or, I think this time I'm going to try something different because I know a little bit about what's coming up.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember any of it because it's way too much to remember. So I am not going to say it is highly replayable. I wouldn't pull it out every month. But with different sets of people, it is a different experience. With different numbers, it is a different experience as well.
Sure. You also have to kind of think about and rate this game kind of when it came out 21 years ago. That it was the turn of the century for kind of these games. You didn't see cooperative games. Pandemic hadn't come out until 2007. I think so.
And Catan and Ticket to Ride were probably the big competition at this time.
And that's the thing is, it's interesting to think about because Pandemic is usually thought of as the granddaddy of cooperative games.
Yeah.
And this was there, but where Pandemic obviously supersedes this is the fact that it is replayable. Mm-hmm. The setup alone is already going to change how your game's going to be played. This game is set up the exact same way.
Yeah.
But
just who gets which cards.
That's it. And I mean, it's not overly complex. I very much actually enjoyed that the events had names that followed the scenarios you were in. So it wasn't super thematic, because yes, at the end of the day, you are just playing symbols. But whereas other games do that, where it's just symbol heavy and theme is just pasted on, they actually give you titles for each of the things for those symbols. Oh, hey, fighting, we're doing the Siege of Minas Tirith. Okay, hiding is the march towards Mordor to distract Sauron. So he gives you enough, I think, to at least make you could play a card like I did earlier, when it's like, Faramir is going to help, fight, or Eomer is going to help us fight Shelob. You can do things like that. That other games that are just icon heavy, just to move up a track, don't do. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say something about the theme real quick. I really liked that as Sauron, the Eye of Sauron, was moving forward, it just reminded me of how, like, because eventually it did get to Bag End, how he's just spreading his corruption throughout the land. I think they did a really good job on theme. Yeah,
and the track with Sauron, I actually kind of enjoyed. He moves up in a slowly encroaching way that feels like, you mentioned, the movies or the book. He wasn't just all of a sudden like, oh, I'm fucking here! Like, he had to search, and over time, the weight of the ring, his presence was starting to become overbearing, and you have ways, you can't mitigate him. When he moves, it's a permanent move up, but you have ways, hey, I'm not going to play anything on my turn, I'm just going to move back one. I like that. It's just enough for a game that came out 20 years ago that the randomness isn't just, hey, this is hard for the sake of being hard. Ghost Stories, or that's the one that immediately popped to my mind, where it's like, hey, this is hard. Well, why? Because it's all random, and it's like, that's faux difficulty. That means the designers were just like, we don't really want to balance it. Like, you'll win if the cards go your way, you'll win if the dice go your way. Here, I'm incredibly impressed that there is randomness of dice, and of tile drawing, that it's like, hey, either the ring bearer can move, or Sauron can move, or someone can move up twice, and it's like, well, we've played enough that Pippin's all the way in the back, so yeah, we can actually move him and not worry about it. But over time, he got all the way up to 5 for us.
Yeah.
And it was Sam's OP ability. I mean, it's also games like this where you look at everyone's very strong power and be like, okay, up the track, it's going to be a bunch of die rolls, give Sam the die rolls. Right. Because either, chances are, he's going to roll either a blank or the pips, and he's only ever going to incrementally move up 1.
Right. And in this case, it worked because you happen to be the ring bearer, which we did not strategize, but that probably
I did strategize to actually be the ring bearer because of that very reason.
Okay.
That I thought most of the time I was going to be the lowest on the corruption because of his ability. Right. That's why I was fighting for the ring. You as Frodo, I've rolled a 3. Moving up 3. Right. It's like, I rolled a 3. Okay, Sam moves up 1. Yep. And so I was like, I want to be ring bearer because chances are I'll be furthest back. And also at the very end in Mordor, I got lucky with the tiles because it slowly moved me up and moved me up on Eowyn to give me the wild. So it did kind of go my way towards the end. But yeah, I mean, I had a great time. Like, it was nice to kind of reminisce over Lord of the Rings. But this is one of those games that's like, I don't want to own this. Like, I wouldn't. Yep. I wouldn't be like, ooh, let's play this, like, immediately. Right. When I have, at this point, so many other cooperative games. Because it's a huge genre now. You got anything to talk about?
No, I mean, that's... you covered it well. I just like different mechanics, different randomness. You know, if this were like some kind of a weird dice mechanic, it would be awful.
Yeah.
I might prefer them as cards, just because they'd be easier to shuffle and randomize. But
that is also true. Yeah. These tokens were kind of weird, like the sun, heart, and the I mean, the ring made sense.
Well, it explains they represent. I forget. They represent things that are thematic, but it's, again, a weak theme pasted onto an abstract game.
Right, this game does have expansions.
It does?
It does. I for some reason thought it did. In 2001, they came out with Friends and Foes. 2002, it looks like a deck of cards, the Black Gate. 2002, they came out with Sauron. And then 2007, they came out with Battlefields.
Okay.
Battle Skies. Yeah, so I don't know, obviously, what any of those bring in. What is that? Battlefields looks like from the ancient ruins of weather. Oh, each of the boards from the main game has a corresponding battlefield, and players maneuver heroes and villains on these battlefields to improve their position in the fully integrated main game. From the ancient ruins of Weathertop to the conflict at the Black Gate of Mordor, the journey of the Fellowship of the Ring is marked with battle. Will Aragorn arrive in time to defend against the Witch King of Weathertop? Will Boromir's courage hold against the savage Uruk-hai? Will Gimli's axe be enough to withstand a horde of orcs at the Chamber of Marzurbool?
Will Sean Bean survive this one?
No! He always dies.
That's like in the ad, like, will Sean Bean survive? No!
Sauron. Let's see. One player takes the part of Sauron, the Dark Lord, and plays against the Fellowship. Sauron watches over the player's every move and uses the Black Rider figure and special Sauron and Nazgul cards to strike. Alright, I don't know if that's its own standalone game. No, it's expansion. And then Friends and Foes. 2 new scenario boards, Bree and Isengard. Adds 13 new feature cards and 3 new Gandalf cards. Yep, and it's expanded by the Black Gate. That's pretty neat. So, but yeah, I mean, even with those, it's kind of like, that would be amazing. You have a huge Lord of the Rings game night, but I have 2 games that kind of already do that. Hunt for the Ring is a 1 versus many game where it's like one person plays as Frodo trying to get to Rivendell, and then the other people play as Nazgul. And then there's War of the Ring, which is the 2-player heavy war game, but those can actually be interconnected. But obviously those are 2 different types of games of this one, where if you want a huge Lord of the Rings experience and you have all those expansions, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, fun game. Like, this is great. This is a great gateway game, especially if you love Lord of the Rings. This isn't one of those like Lords of Waterdeep where it's like, hey, you like D&D? Here's a game that has D&D on it.
Yes.
This is not that. You actually do. We were quoting Lord of the Rings the entire time because the game kind of amplified that. It wasn't like we were doing it to get through the game. Had a good time. All right. Cool. On a scale of 1 to 10. Brett.
I'll go 8.
8? Nice.
It's hard because I'm nostalgic. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh, 8.5. I am going to give it an 8 as well. I was going to give it a 7. It's weird because it's like, I'm going to give it an 8, but I would never play it again. Yeah. But that's not...
It's a great one time, then pass it on to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and also because of just my taste in games. I mean, for a game being 21 years old, it's like, ugh, like Defenders of the Realm, for example, which is, I think 2010 or something. It's not as old as this game, but I'd rather play this over that.
Yeah.
Because that one's just... Right, that one is random. Right. Still a fun cooperative game, but also this is Lord of the Rings, and does a fantastic job of encapsulating that. So yeah, 8's all around, or 8.5. So that's our thoughts on Lord of the Rings. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.